It's Quick Tip Tuesday. You have questions, I have answers, and I am so glad to be answering them for you today. If you have a question that you want answered on the show, pop into my DMs on Instagram at figandfarm. Send me an email at figandfarmathome@gmail.com or join the Facebook group and ask there. bit.ly/design101 group. Let's hop to it. Let's answer your question. And if you find value in this, I'm sure someone else will too. So make sure you share with a friend. Today's question comes from Heather. And she says she is living in a home with old light pieces and dark pieces. There's gray as the color, and then there's wood. And she's wondering what she should not put together and how she can make it all flow together. Okay, this is a little tricky, Heather, to answer because I don't have a picture to go along with it, but I'm imagining maybe some different wood tones. I'm imagining some gray, and it sounds like some dark pieces too. So in my mind, what I'm picturing, Heather, is a little bit of dark, and it might feel a little bit heavy because it's dark. So what I'm wondering is, are there ways for you to lighten up the darkness? What do I mean by that? So if you have a couch that is dark gray and then you have black coffee table or you have dark wood toned side tables, how can you lighten it up so that it makes it feel a little bit warmer? One of the ways that you can do that is by adding textiles to your couch, by adding lighter textiles, by adding creams or oatmeals or maybe even very light grays that kind of mimic white. Adding those are going to help soften the couch in a way that makes it feel a little bit lighter. Instead of seeing a dark, because couches take up a lot of space, right? So instead of seeing a large couch that takes up a lot of real estate, you're softening that by seeing the layers and the texture and the depth that the textiles are adding. Don't forget the pillows. In fact, remember that one of the things I recommend is maybe ditching the couch pillows, the pillows that came with the couch. Those generally tend to be very dark. They tend to be upholstered in fabrics that kind of look like they might belong in the waiting room of a doctor's office. They're not necessarily personalized to your style or telling your story. So I would suggest either recovering those with something a little bit lighter, or when time and money allows, getting new ones that you can, getting new pillows that soften the look. Just by changing the textiles, you're going to see that is not as dark as you might think it is. But let's address some of the other things. So let's pretend, I don't know because I don't have a picture, but I'm imagining a dark, maybe black coffee table. And sitting next to a dark gray couch could make that space feel very heavy. You've already addressed the couch. What can we do about the coffee table? You can add a tray to the coffee table, a tray that is a lighter color. You want the contrast of the color of that tray to help tone down the coffee table. Maybe it's a larger piece, maybe it's a larger tray. It's white, maybe it's white wicker, maybe it's even light wicker, a lighter wood tone. And that tray is going to add texture, of course, but it's also going to add layers to it. Do you have any books that you can add to the tray, any candles you can add to the tray, any vases you can add to the tray, and can they be lighter in color? So imagine this, your black coffee table, and you have a light wicker tray. The light wicker isn't white, but you have a couple books that are white. You've taken off the dust jacket and they are white on the center. You've placed on top of that a creamy color of a vase with some flowers in it. Maybe you have a vessel that has a faux plant. You have a candle in there. Those are going to add a little bit of layers and texture and depth, but it's also going to tone down the coffee table. Okay, the wood that you mentioned, how does that look now that you have lightened the gray couch and you've lightened the black coffee table? Do those stick out a little bit? Remember that wood tones add warmth to a space, and so this can be very good. If it is one piece of wood, though, sitting in a room full of dark pieces, think about repetition. Where else do you see some of the warm wood tones that you have in that one piece of furniture? We've added the wicker tray, and so wicker can mimic wood. It can serve as a way to be repetition of the tone rather than having another wood piece in the space. Maybe you can add repetition by having some wood coasters that you add to the tray, or a wood picture frame somewhere in the room. And those little pieces are a nod towards the repetition that you want, because what you don't want is an outlier. So you don't want just one piece of wood. You want it repeated somewhere else within the room. You don't want just one black coffee table. You might want one coffee table, but you don't want one black thing, because that is going to be dominant in a way that is not appealing to your space. It's going to make it feel like something is amiss and standing out, and that is where bullies start taking over. So you want then, in that case, to have black somewhere repeated throughout the room. Maybe it's a small subtle pattern on the pillow. Same thing with gray. You want to make sure that gray is somewhere repeated within the room, and it doesn't have to be so heavy. It can be just little nods of gray, nods of black, nods of wood tones. And those nods are going to be enough to make them play nicely together. And in your words, Heather, that was flow, to flow nicely together. So you want to think about repetition. You want to think about contrasting dark with light in order to tone things down. And you want to also think about identifying if anything is really just a bully. Bullies command attention in a negative way. And if you have a bully in a room that you're having a hard time remediating by adding repetition, then maybe it's time to remove it. Maybe it's time to move it to a different space within your home. But remember, bullies can be remediated by just adding another opportunity for repetition. If it's the color that needs to be remediated, then add that color in another way somewhere else within the room. If it's a shape, add that shape somewhere else within the room. All of that is going to help create a cohesive or flowy feel to your space. Oh, one other thing. I do want to mention this. What is happening with the flooring? Because if your dark couch and your black coffee table are sitting on a floor that is a wood floor and there's nothing grounding that space, adding another layer, adding a carpet or an area rug is going to be very helpful. Think about this is a great opportunity to tone down and contrast the darkness, the heaviness from the gray and the black and the dark wood tones. And this is an opportunity to create a really wonderful foundational piece by adding a light base rug. Now, we don't have to go crazy. We don't have to have it all be all white. We can have color on it. But if you have a base that is creamy, that is white, that is oatmeal, that is a lighter color, and then it has some pattern or texture or something else on it that offers repetition to the grays and the blacks and the woods, that's fantastic. Or the other colors within your room. But having the base color of it being a light color is going to help ground all of those dark pieces to your flooring in a way that really adds a lovely feel. It makes it feel cohesive, makes it feel like the furniture is not floating, makes it feel softer and warmer, and makes it not feel so heavy. So, Heather, I hope that answered your question. And if you have a follow-up question, if you would like to send in a picture that goes along with it so I can really address the specifics to that question, please send it. Send it my way. You can send it via email at figandfarm@gmail.com. You can send it to my Instagram at figandfarm, or you can pop it into the Facebook group. And if you have a question that you want answered, I do want you to make sure you ask away. Send a picture and be as specific as you want. All right, girls, until next time, I'll see you soon.